On this episode of Bum with a Wrench, we're still moving. I'm going to try making some shorter videos so that I can pump them out pretty quick, and we'll see how that goes, like 10-15 minutes. So I'm just going to do like a one take thing where I just, do what I'd love doing best, and I guess that's talking. Got a lot of the shop cleaned up. Everything, there's a lot of shelving packed up, as you can see behind me. Let me get you over here and I'll show you what's going on. All you guys have moved houses before, I'm sure. Just imagine a house, but like huge. So pallets for days, all back there. Love this car. Absolutely love this car. Look at this thing, so cool. It's hard not to work on the cars, you know. I want to just, start working on everything. Over here, this is all pretty much cleaned up already. Volkswagen is the only thing left that I haven't started, and the mystery machine underneath, that cover up there. All these pallets, remember there was all the racking and stuff, this stuff, all right in here, all gone now. All palletized, shrink wrapped, banded, all that kind of stuff. All the shelving and stuff there in the back, all gone. What I'm gonna do today is pack up all the odds and ends in this area, kind of pack up my welding stuff and the balancer and basically all of the little things that are left laying around. Got a few things over here still to pack up. And then some stuff over there. These are the last bits of the shelves that I need to pack up, so I'm gonna do that today, get all that packed up. That's where we're at. This cabinet over here is empty. Don't have much. There's a few things still in the kitchen and whatnot, but so it's a few more days of packing stuff up before I'm completely done packing. I did have to go get some new roller skates, the little things you put under the wheels and you can push cars around. I bought some off of Amazon, as I always do, buy stuff, cheap tools and stuff off of Amazon. The casters on them just let go. So I knew they were going out, they were getting hard to push. It was easier to actually push the car than it was to push the car on the roller skates. So I went over to Harbor Freight, bought some new roller skates, of course kept the old ones. I'm going to try and go online and see if I can find some casters or something, and then fix the old ones that I have, and I'll have two sets of roller skates. So that'd be nice. So today I'm just gonna, keep packing up. You know how it is, you get through the bulk of the items in your house, and then there's always those little things, all the little cupboards and the little packages and the little, whatever. Kitchen is always the worst. You know what I'm talking about. Check this hat out. Look at, my buddy made this patch. Let me get behind here so I can see you guys are seeing it. Yeah, buddy made this patch for me. It's a little iron-on. I kind of messed it up because I didn't know how. I've never done like an iron-on thing before. My mom always ironed on those patches on your jeans. Remember those? Did you have those? I always did. I always blew through holes. I still blow through the knees, So a buddy made this, so I bought a hat, ironed that on there, but then figured out that you got to put a towel down first and then, hit it with the iron. That way the iron doesn't just melt it. So you live and you learn. But anyways, I thought that was pretty cool. So the other thing I wanted to talk to you guys about was Power Tour. I was sitting at my desk yesterday, today's Saturday, so Friday, I was sitting at my desk, and I'm like, you know what? I definitely want to go to Power Tour this year. I should really probably check and see when it is, where it's going, that kind of stuff, so I can get an idea how much time I actually have. And there might be a few of you out there laughing right now because you know when it is. My goal is to take the El Camino and the Camaro to Power Tour. Both of them are very close to being ready to go. Neither one of them have had a shakedown. In fact, this car here, when we bought it, drove it one time, That's it, up the street. Did a burnout up the street with it, and it blew up the water pump. And then it's been sitting there ever since. The Camaro, test drove it where we purchased it from, shipped it to the building, and then it's never ran since. So both cars, pretty much untested. Of course, this one, I've completely redid the drivetrain on, and some of the steering components and a lot of stuff. This one, I'm redoing the entire front end. I have upper and lower tubular control arms from Hotchkiss. This has got a Flaming River rack and pinion steering on it. I'm taking that off, and I'm going back to the regular gearbox, so I have all of the steering components. The spindles, those are like 70 Chevy, that's like the popular thing, I guess, 70 Chevy spindles. I'm taking all that stuff off. I have all Wilwood spindles and hub bearings and brakes, and the whole front end of that car I have on one of these pallets. So that's a pretty big job, but it's all pretty much straightforward stuff. It's for the most part bolt on and set the alignment and drive the car type stuff. The reason the front end is off the car is because when I started to do the water pump, I started to notice things like electrical being powered by speaker wire and held together by house wiring nuts. So I ripped the front end of the car off, dug all of the wiring out. At the same time, I was like, well, I'm going to redo that suspension, so I bought all the suspension. I have a 2-inch cowl inducted hood for that car. I have all the chrome for that car. I have all the trim for that car. I have so much stuff for that car, because in the end, it's going to be the same level as the Camaro. So after I build it and shake it down and make sure everything's good, make sure I don't have to modify anything, then I'm going to tear the entire car apart into its little tiny pieces and then go ahead and paint the car at that same level of paint job. Now, not the same color, but that same level. So the frame's going to get powder coated. The body's going to be completely stripped down to bare metal. Anything repaired and straightened and painted really nice. The interior is getting completely redone. Right now it's a red on red. It's probably going to go to a Ferrari yellow with some kind of tan leather interior. I'm also considering like a dark blue with a kind of saddle leather interior. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But that's the plan for that car. But that first stage, just getting it up and done and modified and ready to drive and shake down, is the stage that I'm going to take it to Power Tour. Now back to Power Tour. Power Tour is June 10th through the 14th. It is now April 27th. So, and I still got to move, I got to break down all the hoists. Well, the hoist guy's going to break down all the hoists. But I got to move this entire place over to the new building, then finish these 2 cars, and drive to, I believe it starts in Kentucky. So I got to drive the cars to Kentucky. How I'm going to get the cars there, I don't know. Initially, I was going to put them on a trailer and trailer them to their starting location, and then do the tour. But I'm kind of reconsidering that, because if I do that, if I trailer them to the location, the starting location, and then I do the tour, I think the tour ends in Illinois. So then I got to drive all the way back to Kentucky to get the truck and trailer, and then drive back home. So I'm really thinking that the best way to handle this is just to drive the cars, I mean, like I've always said, they're built to be drivers. They're going to be driven. They're going to be enjoyed. So honestly, I don't really see, any issue. They're both pretty, just stable cars as far as that go. Very modern. The Camaro, as you know, completely modern underneath of it. The last bit of not modern is the Ford 9-inch in the back, and we all know those are bulletproof. This has a 9-inch as well in the back of it. I believe it's got a 700 R4 behind a 396. Now the motor, trans, like I said, we drove it one time, did a burnout up the street with it. When I remember that time that we drove it, I think there might have been one other time. I think the owner, when he was here, we drove it once, like around the block. And then the next day, my buddy Jason and I came into work, and there was a while there where the neighbors and stuff were doing burnouts in the street in front of our place. So then we'd do a bigger burnout, and they'd come back and do another burnout. It was kind of like the throwing the gauntlet, you know? So I did a huge burnout up the street with it. And then it blew up the water pump. So it might have been driven once before. I do remember it running extremely well. It drove nice. There was really no problems with it. You can see the level of the car is very nice. So I'm not expecting to have any kind of issues with that car. As far as the build goes, all the brakes work, everything works. I do have new brakes, gigantic Wilwoods for the front and for the back on that car. However, you know, it does take time to put all that stuff on. So obviously, first order of business is to get the Camaro running. Now, back to the Camaro, in order to make that make Power Tour, I got to get it running, which is, it's not far off. And then I got to take it over to the tuner and have it dyno tuned. It has too many new parts on it from when Texas Speed had the motor to where now it's in the car. I changed the injectors. I changed the intake manifold. I changed the throttle plate. I changed a lot of items that really need to be dialed in and tuned. Now, will the car run without going to a dyno tuner? Sure, it will. It'll run just fine. However, taking it cross country and doing a long trip like that, I would definitely want to have it dialed in so that the motor is running its best. It's the most efficient, being that that's a very expensive engine. You don't want to have now the air fuel ratios and that kind of stuff, computers should be able to compensate for a lot of that stuff and dial it right back in. However, still, you know, I mean, it's like, you know, it's like tuning the carburetor on your car. You want to get it right next to stoichiometric as close as you can, you know. You want to make it run the best so that it performs the best, it lasts the longest, and all those things. So this has got to go to a tuner, which is not a big deal. I'm sure there's plenty of tuners around here. The place that I was thinking about using, Superior Automotive. Now, I haven't used those guys in, I think the last time I used them was 1995 or 6. So I don't even know if they're still around. Should probably look that up. But if they are, that's where it's going to go. Back when I was working for Roush, I built the first Roush supercharged Mustang in 1996. So it was what'd they call that Mustang? PN96 was a pickup truck. Anyways, I forgot when they moved from the Fox body to the new body Mustang. Right as so in '94 was the first of the new body, right? And that kept the 5-liter V8, you know. Then in '95, was it '95 or '96? I think it was '95. They came out with a 4.6 single overhead cam. It was somewhere around 95, 96 that I built that car. And it was basically everything, every expensive part you could possibly buy at that time was put on that car. I broke it down to a short block and did the heads on it, supercharger obviously, changed the computer. It had a reworked Cobra computer that went into it. It was a beautiful car. It went to a handful of magazines before some guy blew it up getting on the freeway. He did a 1-2 pull, went to third, and then went to grab fourth and grabbed second, dumped the clutch and popped the motor. Anyways, so that was the last time I used Superior Automotive, was, you know, back in the mid 90s. But that's, they did a really good job. I needed to take it to someone like that where they're big and well known and trusted by, you know, some of the biggest people in the industry. So that still needs to get done to that car, which is not a big deal. But I got a lot of things that are really hard to do on that car. I am running the spark plug wires down the side of the engine through a hole in the firewall to the coil packs that are mounted underneath the dashboard. Now, if you know these Camaros, you also know that there is not a lot of room under the dashboard, especially after you've fitted a vintage air conditioning system into it. There's not a lot of room in there. So I need to get creative with bracketry and how I'm gonna mount the coils. I've got a good idea in my mind how I wanna mount it, but you know, that doesn't always work out to how it's gonna actually play out in the end. So I need to do that. The computer I've already figured on those cars, as do most of the older, you know, 60s cars and stuff, they have vents down in the little kick panel. Well, I'm gonna eliminate that vent. I'm gonna inset the computer into that vent hole, make a special little close off for it that holds that computer, and then the wiring will come right across, so it'll come through the firewall, go across up top behind the gauges, drop down into the computer. You know, it should be fine. I also have Dakota Digital gauges that need to go in that car, and this is going to be the first time that I actually use their OBD. It's like a OBD piggyback, where I think I've never used it before, so and I haven't really looked into it, but I think it just piggybacks on the OBD2 port to supply the gauges with the information that they're looking for. Again, I haven't worked with that, so that's going to be another challenge. Getting all that working. Now it does have gauges in it that I could go ahead and just run for the time being. I don't know, we'll see where we get. I got a lot of stuff to do between that car and that car before June 10th through the 14th. So, and I'm gonna need bare minimum an entire day just to drive to Kentucky. I would love to have 2.5 days to go to Kentucky, especially with these cars. I don't want to be hot-footing it. I don't want to drive a 24-hour stint straight, you know, shot. So, but we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But anyways, I just wanted to give you guys an update on the shop, on the situation, and on Power Tour. I am still wanting to go to that. How we get there, not exactly sure. I might throw the trailer behind the El Camino and pull the Camaro. Don't know. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. That'd be a neat sight driving down the highway and you see a 64 El Camino with a 396 pulling a, you know, really awesome Camaro. That'd be pretty neat, I think. But me and my buddy are gonna go if he still goes. I don't know if he might not go. If he doesn't go, then I'll just take one of the cars. But you know, I mean, that'd be pretty neat. But I think just driving the two cars would probably be the best way to go. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for tuning in. I'm gonna try and make some more of these little short videos just for the time being until we can get moved into that new shop. Soon you're gonna see the parade of cars. I still don't have word on the insurance yet. Insurance is very hard to get right now, especially in the state of California. So as soon as I get that, we are gonna start moving this stuff extremely fast. So cars are going to go out. You'll see the parade of cars. You'll see everything go down out of this door and into the new door, and I'll introduce you guys to the new shop. So thank you guys for watching, and as always, until next time, guys.